What's up, beautiful people? It's your girl, it's Leanne. I'm getting blissed out with Getting into Soul Culture, podcast number 14. Here today we have my beautiful friend, Matthew Kocel. Hi, Matthew.
Hello, Leanne.
And recently we had lunch talking about some future arraignment. It's probably over 3 months now when we had originally met, and we were sitting together discussing some ideas and plans, and I brought out my tarot decks, friends, those magical things. And in that, the journey of some of the exchanges of wisdom brought in an opportunity where myself and Matthew recently had done a wonderful trade with both of our programs, getting into soul culture and his throat singing workshop, throat activating also. So today we're going to talk about shedding into soul culture and how the journey has gone along in that 8 weeks, what we learned together, and so that it can be a reflection and a testimony to anybody who's interested in the program. So Matthew, let's go back to week 1 where we started in my room and we drew out some tarot and we got into a place where this be a really great journey together. Maybe you can tell us a little bit about what you remember.
Well, before I drew the cards and the runes, you were talking to me about, if one chooses to work with this lineage, particularly the Hindu pantheon, in regards to the yogic path, then it's important, or it can be advantageous to find one's Ishtadev or your main portal to connect with into these realms, into the subtle realms, into the spirit world. And so I have, well, I drink from many streams. So that could be uh, any number of spiritual lineages that I resonate with. However, I do have an initiation in my past, a Shaktipat initiation that from a master that goes back to all the way back to Lord Rama. And anyway, I pulled 3 runes and 3 Tao Te Ching cards. And as I was looking at the runes, I just noticed their shapes. And so I don't know which way is up or down or left or right with the runes, but I turned the first one, so it looked like an R, the letter R, capital R. And then the second one, I turned it on its side, I think it was its side, and it formed a peak. And in my mind, that was an A. Then the third one, I turned, I believe, on its side, and it formed an M. So there I had in front of me Ram. And very interestingly, the Tao Te Ching cards in the same order of first, second, and third that I pulled, the message from the deck matched the message from the rune deck and the rune stones. So that was pretty cool. And just felt like a very clear signal because I did have that in my mind as I was pulling the runes and pulling the cards. What is my Ishtadev? I was asking for that. And for added clarity, that night I had a dream that I was leaving I was going somewhere and I couldn't find my keys. And I was looking all over for my keys. And then just at the very end, I found my keys and I was ready to go.
So the keys were that you found your Ishtadev, you think?
Could very well be. It certainly felt like that to me.
Yeah, and the unfolding of that will continue, like whatever we're having our serendipities and synchronicities. It's kind of interesting. It's a whole life journey, but it was such an honor, like, because if that didn't happen, folks like that are watching this, I wouldn't be able to even open or express things that I've been going through with my divine awakening with Shiva Shakti, creating this course, even like coming into the time where I'm like, let's do this exchange. Let's learn something from each other. Let's open up some things that we didn't know about each other because I never knew that you had initiation either. And here goes like 3 or 4 different initiations on my journey. And I was like, really, Matthew? And I'm like, do you not see this?
Yeah. So yeah, the as with so much, there's multiple layers to everything, and the messages and the divination. Um, but at that level, and at the level of my question that I was asking, uh, yeah, it seemed like a pretty direct response.
Mm. I think that's a beautiful thing about using anything in life. And I think it's really when we're dropping into our mirroring too. So the big thing about mirroring is like, okay, who are we in front of that's going to energetically hold a field that's going to drop through and hold space with us. And I've seen that like there are significant pillars in my life, and I don't know how you feel about this, but audience, the biggest thing for me in seeing miracles like this happen is being called. So with my calling, age 19, and then my most recent calling in the last 4 years, emerging into full cosmic consciousness of Shiva and Shakti, I'm just a catapult and a pillar. And that's why shedding into soul culture is here. It's an opportunity for what's already happened within me to hold space in an atmosphere to help draw out. And now every other individual that plays cards, as kids, as we play in the playground or as we're just a part of this life, beyond purpose is to engage with divine energy. And so if we're holding that soul culture focus of what this is about, these 8 weeks that we had a chance to drop in each one of our chakras and then do advanced dynamic work, we drop back in to being the observer. So audience, the 8 weeks is really designed so that we can get to know the internal body and that we can see this divine union a little bit more of what we truly are and what is really happening with our cosmic energy or our pranic body or our movement or our chakras or these dynamic methods that help us to stop and just be here and now. Now, the answers are here right now. The answer was there right then. But the thing about our ego and our mind is because the mind is so busy, we're not allowing the divine to be present with us. So my reflection in doing this 8 weeks, was drawn into my first time when I saw my mind in 2011 by doing dynamics. So when we merged the yoga into these dynamic, modernized methods of the Trimurti, of this old lineage, when they merge in time and space, they have the ability to expand upon a deeper silence so that we can quickly feel the power of presence. So while we talk a little bit about the 8 weeks, you can think back to like all the methods that you did. Think back to the significance of maybe a moment. I think one of the breakthroughs I remember having with you was in the solar plex in week 3, where we were doing chakra breathing. And we both pulled cards without even thinking, opposite of the ego. And the solar plex is all about the ego. So there was a trimurti happening in that moment too, of like ego, ego, ego. Right?
Sorry, my
Yes,
phone's
yes.
ringing.
That's okay.
Pause.
It's okay. Yeah, so
Hi, love. Oh,
okay. So yeah, so in that moment we had the solar plex, and then, what we get into in this course, guys, maybe Matthew can highlight a little bit about what he learned about himself um through shedding some old stuff, maybe some blockages.
well, I find it interesting that the bija the bija mantra for the solar plexus is also Ram, and that's certainly an area that I've been aware of uh, having blockage in my life. Um, so yeah, I feel like a lot has been activated in the process of going through the course and the practices, and it's still unfolding. Um, Also, I think you pointed out to me that the placement of my birth date also is in according to Vedic astrology, in the realm of Ram,
Mm,
which will verify that when I get a Vedic astrology reading. But that all sounds perfectly aligned and kind of reassuring. Again, I don't feel any distancing from any of the spiritual streams that I uh, resonate with, but it's nice to know that there is something like this seems to be reaching for me and reaching out to support, and very grateful and
yeah.
grateful for our time together.
I think also having a chance to reflect the multi dimensions of what happens when we drop into these methods, visually what can happen in a room where we dissolve. And I think the biggest thing about shedding to soul culture is some people will have more tendency to see what they call the man of many faces or the woman of many faces, or the expansion of our consciousness within us come through and work through us, and that dissolving into that when we meditate. And so that becoming an active experience, I think that happened more when we were in like the fifth chakra or sixth chakra, um, is why I'm doing this work, right? And shedding. The more that we're shedding, we're actually becoming more of that source energy. And the blockages that we're having in our life predominantly will be there within the chakras to see, okay, what are the positive or the negative aspects of this as I'm ascending? What can I hold space for? What can people hold space for me in my own self-acceptance?
Beautiful.
Yeah. I think that there's out of all the 8 weeks, what do you feel in your own personal experience um with the yoga and with the dynamic work that you love the most out of all the methods?
Well, I really appreciate the dynamic aspect of being in the body as a form of meditation. And you can do that with asana, and we did. Um, but I'm thinking of, for example, the Mahamudra, just allowing the body to move as your spirit and energy wants to move it. Um, the breathing practices um, I very much resonate with, and and combining these or preceding them with asana practice, I found to be very powerful. And yeah, I think that's it's going to continue unfolding for me and with
Mm,
me.
mm. That's wonderful. Yeah, that's what the methods are for. And that's why I created them so dynamically, because there's so much that I feel with the right practitioner too, the person that's ready for a 3-hour session that can breathe, learn a pranic breath work on a chakra alone in asana work, other than the Sun's Life teaching, but really get into a chakra part of that body, a sound that will activate that too, and then a strong method that will blow you. So it does a lot of shedding in those 3 hours. And then that clearing, what I recognize from all the years of like what the masters say, become meditation, is why I do such a dynamic work, because I feel like how can we speed up a process for an individual to know all the chakra body so that they can work through it when they need to, have a sound to work through it, a breath to work through it, a body posture and a movement, and then a dynamic work to help them shed a lot deeper so that it all kind of flows into purpose, because people do yoga for such a long time, but they'll never really feel the flow of prana. So when I added in the dynamic or say chakra breathing for an hour or so after, that should give you the wave of the current of what they call meditation in motion in yoga, which takes sometimes yogis many, 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 many lives to do it. Like they never really feel their pranic body. They never really feel their nadis. But by week 3, if you use that dynamic method that Master Osho had given me, the breathing into every chakra, we experience the nadis. And then what about the intimacy as we moved into the later chakras and in the crown, and then the soul chakra, when we're merging the gold and the dark, right? Earth and sky, father and mother. So that tantric energy is really what allows us also to see what real pranic energy in our body should feel like with the movement of Kundalini, right? And so, audience, the reason why we're dropping into such a reflective talk right now because there was so much in silence that was happening when we were in the room. Matthew, it was an honor to be a mirror with you, just to learn with you, and also with your own lineage of your work that you've done. Um, Maybe tap into a chakra where you feel it was uncomfortable. Which one was that?
I would say the solar plexus was probably the most challenging.
Mm.
One.
Did you find the methods worked with the chakra breathing? Did you feel any of the breakthroughs in that?
Yeah, I do. I feel like something was triggered, and there's been a lot of movement, and I'm. It's hard to quantify, but I just feel like my willpower has been freed up and more, a little more confidence in, uh, more confidence in synchronicity, and that I'm being fed,
Mm.
you know, by the cosmos. If that
Do
makes
you feel
sense.
like there was a block there that was childhood then? Do you think it was more like something that you needed to get rid of?
Yeah, I believe it began in very early childhood, in infancy, and
Mm,
just compounded over the years. And it's something I've been carrying around for my entire life.
mm. Tremendous, tremendous thing to acknowledge, but also to have the methods to shift. And see, that's the whole key point. Like it's the methods,
Mhm.
the key.
And
Yeah.
I bless the wound. I bless the challenge because it helped create who I am today. And
Mm,
through the wound, that our weakness becomes our strength if we can be present with it and work with it.
mm. Thank you. I appreciate that. So, any suggestions to any listeners that you feel in the 8 weeks, why would anybody want to take this course or what it would significantly benefit them, even in drawing up your focus wheels in the first week, like seeing the impact of looking at yourself and working through not only your chakra body, your breath body, your sound body, your dynamic body, your tantra body, but how about your goals and your life legacy?
Yeah, I think the focus wheel is a great exercise, and yeah, one that I'm going to continue to revisit. Um, and I also think putting all these methods together, maybe not tools, putting all these tools together and working with them in tandem and consecutively, it's just giving you a lot more depth of experience in exploring your own potential and to really accelerate your progress. It's easy in this day and age to spin our wheels, and we're being bombarded with so much information and stimulation and input, sensory input, um, and there's so much um, chaos in the world as well. So it's really valuable to come back to these tools that have been passed down through eons, through we don't even know how old these practices are, but they are time tested and so effective. So I feel it's very valuable to help anyone find their center and recalibrate their lives.
Beautiful words. I appreciate you. And so, listeners, if there is inquiry that you want to have, just direct message me. Um, or even if you have any requests from this conversation between me and Matthew, there's wonderful feedback that we can get from all of us. And if we have any questions to make this community a better heart-based focus, the whole vision with doing these works, just like Matthew does and that I do, is really that we can become like liquid. We want to become like liquid. We want to help the next generation. So by healing our wounds, healing anything that's blocking in us, we become an open vessel for existence just to flow through us and to exchange our talents. It says, if you want to change the world, educate people on your gifts. And I just show up with this gift because these are the gifts actually that changed my life. And now that I can see it helped more people like Matthew and it helped other people, let's keep spreading that wonderful tool, the toolbox.
Beautiful.
Yeah. So good to be with you, Matthew. And um, anything that you'd like to share or leave with here?
Help is available.
Mm.
So, yeah, if this resonates with you, definitely don't hesitate to reach out to Leanne. She's wonderful to work with. And I really appreciate, Leanne, your depth of knowledge and your dedication to your path of self realization and your dedication to help people shed the unnecessary layers to live their authentic lives.
Mm. Namaste, my brother. We'll see each other soon. And friends, Matthew Kocel, check out his music, his workshops, his beautiful transforming vocals that are all on Spotify. Where are the other locations?
All the locations, Apple, Tidal, Amazon, YouTube, you name it, I'm there.
Mm. And we'll share another podcast on our most recent venture with him, with his vocal activation coming soon. See you soon, friends. Namaste, Matthew.